Well, that was an exciting race, wasn't it? I'm watching the Brazilian Grand Prix, and I have to say I was enthralled by it all. The highlight of the race, when all said and done, was by all accounts Jenson Button, who was leading Alonso all the way through by about 2 seconds, was told to allow Alonso through, and Button said okay, and then pulled away and was 8 seconds, 8.5, 9 seconds away from him. Yeah, that's exciting, isn't it? I don't really know what else to say about F1. They've messed it up. F1 is just rubbish now. Absolute pile of poo-poo. I'm not allowed to say the other word because YouTube then won't allow me to monetize my videos because I said a naughty word or had an opinion. So I'm not advertiser friendly. That's funny. My God. F1. So apparently, we all know that anyone who follows F1 knows that McLaren nowhere this year. When they're a top team when all of a sudden, and they've got the Honda engine, and Honda knew they'd messed up after the second race by all accounts because they'd made this turbo and compressor that fitted within the V of the engine. So they knew what to do. They said, well, we need to put the compressor and the turbo at the back or the front of the engine and make it bigger, and it would work better. But because of the way F1 is now, they weren't allowed to change it. They were stuck with that for the whole season. Because no testing, no nothing in F1, just so that we can have some back markers that move, that are just basically moving chicanes, to try and equal the field. Could you imagine doing that in the Premiership of football? So right, everyone can only spend 10 million. I hope you're thinking about that, because that's what they've done to F1. They've said you can only spend this amount of money, and if you don't get your car right from the start without any testing, no in-season testing, then tough. And they wonder why the whole season is boring. McLaren have won pretty much every race. I think Ferrari have won one. So that's really exciting, isn't it? So basically the only thing that's been going on is Rosberg versus Hamilton. Out of 20 odd drivers, we're only allowed to watch 2 battle each other, and then that's all fixed as well. It's all too much. I could really rant a lot about F1. I really could. Because it's in disarray. I mean, you can only watch it live every week if you've got Sky. And not just have Sky, you have to have the Sky Sports package first before you can have the F1 package. So you can't just have F1. It's ridiculous. And I wonder why there's falling TV audiences. Well, we watch the BBC, which they have every other race, they said. Well, it hasn't averaged out at that at all. Sometimes they don't have any coverage for a couple of races. We have highlights. And then we miss most of the stuff. There's no, this is, remember, I'm UK, so this is UK television. And half the time you don't even hear any interviews with Jenson, because he's ended up in 943rd because the Honda engine wasn't allowed to be changed throughout the season, because they're not allowed to test during the season, because they want people like Manor, Marussia or whatever, to be able to race on 5 pence. I think that's enough said, really. I'm watching the podium and I'm about as excited as a piece of cheese. In fact, I'm so excited I might have a piece of cheese. I'm glad I've got homebrew. Let me tell you, let's go on to homebrew. Homebrew, this stuff is awesome. My good lady made this one, actually. And it costs about, I don't know, 20-30p a pint. And you have 3 pints of it. Now, I'm a drinker, so I can, if I go down the pub, I can quite easily drink 7 or 8 pints. And, obviously I know I've had a drink, but I'm all right. 3 of these, and you think, holy Jesus. So that's pretty good value, isn't it? So, everyone out there, don't bother watching Grand Prix. Don't bother watching F1. Just get yourselves a homebrew kit and drink your way through a Sunday afternoon. Win-win situation. Don't have to buy Sky. Well, anyway, I think it's time to have a proper sleep now because, I've bin so awakened by this Grand Prix, and it makes me laugh that they try and make out that it was exciting. It wasn't. Laters.
but they've delivered here today and scored maximum points once again.